All right, ladies and gents. Oh my gosh. This is going to be round 2. So, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple things right here real quick. So, like an idiot, I ran this whole show without audio the first time, but it's such an important show. I think I'm just going to do it again. It probably won't be as long, but I'm going to do it again because I think it's going to bring you guys some tremendous value. So, here's what's going on. I want to do an episode where I can bring you guys some information on how we do the show live every single day. I want to share with you the equipment that we've been using, mainly because I'm here by myself today. So that's what I want to do. So here we go. I'm gonna open up this Facebook thing so I can make sure that we're doing it live. There we go. And I can see the comments that are going on here. So let's try this round 2. Let's see. I'm gonna share this to my page, and then I should be able to see all the commentary all the way through. Okay, so post that. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we are on. All right. Welcome to the correct episode of Business Bros. My lonesome episode. Okay, so check it out. I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. I'm all by my lonesome. I don't have a guest. I don't have James today, which is why I did the first Facebook Live without the audio, because James is usually the guy who does the audio stuff. So big mess up on my part, but that's okay. I'm going to do it for you guys again really quick just so you guys can see what's going on. All right. So here's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Every day that we do an episode, we try to make the show look as seamless and as easy as possible. How we have the guests, we have different camera angles that we use. The sound hopefully sounds good. The quality sounds good, you know, when the sound is on, right? And I wanted to share with you guys how we do that, right? Because many of you have been asking and have been wondering, like, man, I want to do a podcast. How do I stay top of mind? It's important that you stay top of mind. It's absolutely vital that you stay top of mind with your clients. When I first started doing this podcast, I did it because I was listening to people like Gary Vee. I was listening to people like my real estate coaching program, Tim and Julie Harris. I was learning to become a coach. How do I get more clients? How do I get more customers? Was a question that almost everybody's asking themselves, right? If you're in business, you're asking yourself, how do I get more clients? Well, you do it by staying top of mind. You do it by having a way to engage with your clientele, with your circle of influence. How do you get in front of people and tell them what it is that you do? We decided we're going to do podcasting. Now, we did podcasting first and foremost because I didn't want to do video editing. Video editing is not my thing. When you see all our stuff on Instagram with the nice little borders around the videos, the little disappearing, reappearing logo that shows up, the little sound clips, all that is done by our team, Visionary Media, Jose over at Visionary Media and Adrian over there at Visionary Media. So we got the Business Bros podcast. We do our stuff every day, but our branding stuff is powered by Visionary Media. They're our team that we love to work with. So, but they dress it up and make it look pretty. How do we get the information out there to you? How do we get the video clips? How is it that when the guest is talking, the camera's on him? When I'm talking, the camera's on me? Maybe we do a split screen. Maybe we do quad screens, all that stuff. How does that get done? I'm going to share with you today that equipment that we use to make sure that we have good quality audio, that we have good quality video, and I'm going to give you a little bit of behind the scenes on why the swag wall is there. So a little bit different today. I'm going to pick up the camera, so I'm going to be moving around, holding it, showing you guys some stuff. Hopefully you guys find some value in this, and if you're interested in getting your own podcast off and rolling, I want to offer you our services. I want you to hit me up, send me a DM, send me an email, hernan@csfirst.com, and that way you guys can have my information. It's up here in the corner, right? There's my contact info. We have our logo, and then of course we have our insurance agency, Pipeline Insurance. We're here to help you with all your insurance needs. We even want to add insurance into your particular business so we can help you make some more money. So my job, my why, my reason for getting up every single day and doing what I do is because I want to help you create wealth today and generational wealth tomorrow. And I'm doing that by helping you build a brand using podcasting and build an income stream using insurance. All right. So those are the two things that we do, and that's what we focus on every single day. Now, when we started the podcast, we didn't intend on doing guests. We kind of just thought we were going to talk, James and I, about business the whole time. But our audience wasn't growing at all. Mom listened all the time because she's mom. She's always supported, right? But nobody else was listening. My 8-year-old son, Liam, says, Dad, if you want people to listen to your show, you got to get influencers on your show. Smart kid for an 8-year-old. So I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, every time I get a guest on the show, I am engaging with that person. That means I get to talk to them. I enrich the relationship that I have with that person, and they're going to share that content with their friends and family. So my audience is going to grow just a little bit at a time, right? That was my main concept. That was my aha moment. That is when I realized, oh, snap. And if I do it every single day, I'm going to meet a new person every single day. I'm going to get to expand on their particular audience every day. And my audience is going to grow and grow and grow from there. So once I realized that, once I understood the power of why a podcast works, then I started to grow a little bit more. When we started, I didn't know a thing. I went to the Google University, Google.com, and I asked Google, how do you start a podcast? And all kinds of information popped up, right? And the first thing I wanted to know was, how do I syndicate it? Well, it taught me a little bit about an RSS feed. It taught me about hosting, what hosting actually is, and I should hire a web designer, or I can go to different places that do it on a monthly basis. I can help you with all that, figure out what works for you. We figured out what works for us. We built our own website and we host our own stuff ourselves. So we take our RSS feed and we syndicate it out directly. We had to apply with Spotify. We had to apply with iTunes. We had to apply with, Google Music, all the different places, so that when we post on our website, it goes out to everything else, right? It syndicates automatically every single episode. So we can help you get all that set up, right? So that was number one. And then number two was, what equipment do I get? Do I need a microphone? Do I need a special camera? What is it that I need to get this podcast off and rolling? So a little bit of Google searching, and most people had differing opinions. Did I need 4 mics? No, you probably only need 1 mic. Is it a USB mic? Is it a XLR mic? All these different things, right? And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to do this a little bit better. I'm going to get a 4 mic station, and I went to the best place that I know to shop different products online. Can you guys guess where that is? Yeah, Amazon, right? I went to Amazon.com and I said, I want a 4 mic system. And so when I Googled a 4 mic system, out popped up a bunch of different types of products, right? And I didn't really want to go super expensive. I just wanted something that would work for now. And I said, you know what, if I like this thing, if it works, if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, then I'll upgrade a little bit later on. And I'll tell you some of the stuff we upgraded. So before we get into, the exact mics and the software and the Sling Studio, I wanted to share a little bit about the importance of the swag wall, right? So everything that's on this wall represents somebody who's been on our show. Everything here has a story to tell. All right, and I'm going to start off with the very basic one. The very first one, because if you go back to our episodes when we first started doing video, you're only going to really see the Monopoly board, you're going to see the cash flow board, and then maybe like a little, some other little trinkets here and there. And the reason why we have those is because growing up, we did play a lot of Monopoly, but our biggest tribute was to Mr. Robert Kiyosaki himself, because that is when I learned to look at the world of money a little bit differently, right? Robert Kiyosaki is the one who told me the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Assets feed you. Liabilities will make you starve, right? So spend your life buying assets and you'll be wealthy after that. And once I understood that simple, basic concept, everything changed for me. Now I spent my life figuring out what the heck was an asset. Everything from buying a home to buying a business to running a business to growing a business to scaling a business. All these different things came because I started off playing cash flow and learning about what Robert Kiyosaki was talking, right? And I realized that in life, I just got to play real life Monopoly, buy more property, and then you're just gonna, 3 greenhouses, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. That's it. That's the formula for wealth, right? So build businesses and invest in real estate. That's it. So, so that was originally on the board. And as we had more and more guests, not every guest, but a lot of guests brought us stuff. So I'm gonna grab the camera now. I'm gonna walk you through some of this stuff. So as the guests came over, each guest brought a little something. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy right here, this bulldog, right? So this bulldog is from Battle Fulkerson. Dan Fulkerson is one of the guys I met. I learned a skill, or a little trick, which was when you send me a Facebook friend request, I send you a video DM. And so I did that to Dan, and Dan was so impressed. He's like, hey, man, we got to meet. We got to sit down and we got to talk. So we went over to, I forgot the name of the chili dog place, but in Barrio Logan, we went to go have some chili dogs, and he brought me some swag, right? He brought me some swag, told me a little bit about his story, shared some connections with me. We sat and talked for a while, and he gave me this shirt, and along with a couple kids shirts, some pants, some cool stuff, right? I brought the kids shirts home, and my son and my daughter loved wearing the shirts. My son especially, he wears them like a couple times a week. And so what I did was I reached out to Dan, and I showed him a video. I was like, hey Dan, look, I'm washing these shirts too often. Liam really loves them. You know, I just want to say thank you, dude. Dan's the kind of guy where he saw that and he turned around and he sent me some more stuff. He sent me 2 of these little bulldogs that are up here. Right? Liam has one. I put one up here, and then some more shirts for the kids, some more swag. That's the kind of guy that Dan is. He's going to send you stuff. He's going to help you out whenever you need it. He's an injury attorney lawyer, one of the best ones in San Diego. So make sure you guys hit him up if you guys ever need him, right? And I got over here, Unbreakable. This is a great story. So Bonnie, she goes as Posh Notions online. She was one of my very first clients that I ever had that came from the podcast directly. She was starting her business. We did a little bit of business coaching with her to help her get off the ground. And we got her to get over her fear of getting online. And now she's created her own movement. She has the Unbreakable campaign. She's out in Pennsylvania. She does shirts, and she shares a story with everybody about, you know, the different physical ailments that she's going through, and she helps other people get through those physical ailments. She's unbreakable. It's just like all of us, right? We go through our own ups and downs. We're unbreakable. That's why that shirt is represented there, because we all should be unbreakable, right? We're going to fall, we're going to fail, we're going to scrape our knees, but we're going to get up and we're going to keep going. And I got all kinds of cool stuff. I got this shirt up here from Wicked Smart. These guys are in Boston. They're based out of Boston. They've been on the show. I got books from authors who have been on the show. Most recently, we've had The Curiosity Theory, Mr. Martin Lopez. We got the Underground Fish Taco Club. I wrote a parody video for that one. Fish tacos, right? These are all connections. We have Tycor Title here. We have Ryan Lipsy. We've been to his office a couple times. We got some of these this pipeline swag, these bottle openers, right? All these different things represent somebody who's been on the show. I got Eric Gilman's book over there. He's a Hall of Famer Cutco guy. We got Harris Rules. Harris Rules is the book that my coaching organization puts out that they wrote, and I got a nice little inside that book. On the very first page, they gave a shout out to the Business Bros podcast. That was super awesome. One of the greatest feelings, right? We got digital hospitality. We got a bunch of cool stuff out here, right? That $200, by the way, that came from Courtney Cameron over at Big Block Realty. She was one of the first people that came and donated cash when we were doing the shoe drive. And instead of spending the actual cash, I left it there just to show that, we're doing good things for the community. And we ended up just buying the shoes out of our own pocket. So, thanks, Courtney. It was a great inspiration. Up here, I got the Pie Creed. Now, this is something that my dad wrote up, and it's something that he wants to create to share out with nonprofit organizations. He has a big place in his heart for people doing the right thing because it's the right thing, not because anybody's looking. So it's called the Pie Creed. It's the Personal Integrity Creed. If you guys want to read more about it, I suggest you go check it out. PersonalIntegrityCreed.com. He's got all these different principles on being a good person because it's the right thing to do, because we're all good people. We want to help people in different ways, and hopefully we start using this Personal Integrity Creed to help other nonprofit organizations have certain principles, the principles that you need to be a good person out there in the world. So that one sits up top on the shelf right next to Grandma's green vase. So that vase was a sugar vase that my grandma had when she passed away. I wanted the original. My aunt was like, no, I'm keeping the original, but I have a double. And so I took the double. That one has some sentimental value. It keeps gold coins for me. So the swag wall, my wife doesn't really like the swag wall. She says it's a bunch of clutter, but for me, it represents all the people who've been on the show. It represents what we've done for almost 400 episodes, the people that we've met. You all have heard that saying, your net worth is your network, right? Well, because of the podcast, because I have a show every single day, I have a massive network. These are all people who have reached different pinnacles of success in their career and are continuing to grow. I had a real estate agent, Miss South Bay, was on the show. And when she came on the show, she was barely getting out of her shell. She was kind of timid. She was barely kicking off. I see her stuff all the time. She's kicking butt these days, right? Everybody who's been on the show has grown in some facet of life. And so I keep that swag on the wall to remind me that, all these people are there to help me if I ever needed it, just like I was there to help them when they needed it. And that's what it's all about. It's connecting with different people. That's why it's so important that you guys have your own podcast so that you're doing things your way. And I want to help you guys create that. So make sure you guys hit me up. My contact info is up there, hernan@csfirst.com, 619-884-4915. Or just send me a DM. I'd love to talk to you more about building your own podcast. All right, let's get into this equipment. You guys ready to get in the equipment? So I'm going to start with the mics. These mics are Rockville mics. I went on Amazon. I looked for a 4-mic system, right? I'm going to put this down real quick because my arm's getting tired. All right, so I looked for a 4-mic system. Now, this 4-mic system was the one that just I got all together. It came with the 4 microphones. It came with 4 mic stands. It came with the windstocks, the all kinds of different little pieces, right? And so these were the first ones that we got. These were the ones that we loved. So I liked them. I personally chose them not because I knew anything about microphones, because I didn't, right? I'm actually looking to upgrade mine to more of a dynamic mic because I want to show you guys something about this type of mic. So right now when I'm talking into it straight, it sounds good. But as I turn it, the sound doesn't sound as good, right? It changes a little bit. So since the sound changes, I want to be able to have, I know you guys seen Joe Rogan's show. So those mics, doesn't matter what side of the mic you speak into, it's going to give you the good quality sound. These mics aren't like that. They're good quality from this distance, right? As soon as I move the mic back, the voice changes. You can't hear it as well. So it really is important that you keep the mic as close as possible so that you can get the best quality sound. Now, when people come on the show, they don't always know, that they need to continue to speak into the mic this close range. They're just used to talking, and they're more nervous about what they're going to say on the show than, where I stand next to the mic. So one of the first things we started to learn was we use this program called Audacity. It's free. You can get it. You can download it. Audacity, Audicity. I'm not a good speller. I never did well on a spelling bee, but I think that's how you spell it. Anyways, Audacity records our audios, and it takes an audio stream for each individual mic. So if I have my mic, James's mic, we're used to being this close so that our sound is good. But the guest might be, further back because they're just comfortable. They're leaning back. They're laughing. Haha. Whatever it is, and so the sound gets different. There's a difference in the sound, right? The volume is not as good. So Audacity allows me to go in before I post the video, and I listen to the audio, and I can see the volume as it moves up the meter, right? So what I do is I set the volume on each individual audio line so that they all sound the same. So that when you're listening to it on Spotify, when you're listening to it on iTunes, it sounds like the mic is the same distance and that has the same volume for each one of our lines. And so we do that on a post-edit production, and we record the audio one straight through, and then we take that audio and I can adjust the levels, add the intro, add the outro, that sort of stuff, right? So we use these Rockville microphones. One of the things that you must have, and it's part of the 4-piece package. I'll put a link, by the way, in the show notes for these different mics. So one of the things that we added or that we have is these holders, right? So you can see where the mic is being held on this one. All right, you see how the mic is being held, and it's got these bands right here, right? And what the bands are for, they're shock bands. So anytime, like if you're sitting here and you can kind of hear it, watch, you guys are gonna listen. So if I hit the mic, it doesn't sound as bad, right? You still hear it, but these rubber bands are absorbing the shock, and that's part of the things that come with the kit. So it's helping you understand like a little bit about where you're holding the mic. I'm holding it in my hand. This mic is not really designed to be held in your hand, but in this case, I'm doing it so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So when you get this 4-mic kit, make sure you have some sort of shock absorber so that you can make sure that your mic sounds really good as you're moving things around. The other thing it came with was the arm, right? So we got the arms here. The original podcast equipment that we came with didn't have the arms. The arms were a little bit different. They stood on a solid base, but they weren't really adjustable. And when we first started the podcast, we would do a lot of stuff. We would do a lot of stuff on site. So we went to Ryan Lipsey's office. We went to Dean Aguilar's office. We were going to them to get them on the show because we had no clout. We were a new podcast. We're like, episode 100 or 90 or something like that. We're still a baby in the industry. And I wanted to make sure that people, took us seriously, and anybody who I knew had a larger audience than us, which was pretty much everybody, right? I wanted to accommodate them as much as possible. So we would take our stuff mobilely to them. Those handles that we use, those arms that we use, they were just not designed for that. And they eventually broke down. We had to get something different. So now we're using these arms. Let me tell you about these arms a little bit. So these arms actually bolt in, or they don't bolt in. They're using a vice grip, and they secure themselves directly to the table. And so once they're locked in, I can adjust these arms pretty easily. They move up, they move down. I have the mic already set up so that when the guest shows up, all they really got to do is grab the mic by the elbow. They can bring it closer to them. They can take it out back, and it's good to go, right? Sorry about the mic. I only have one hand for the mic, one hand for the camera, so it might shift a little bit. So anyways, those are the stands that we're using, right? And now let me show you a little bit about the video. So something really cool about this video, and I'm gonna put this down real quick. I'm gonna change the camera angle so I can see what's going on here with Sling Studio. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna show you guys what the screen actually looks like. So this is our MacBook Air, right? And on there you can see the camera, the different screens. We use this thing called Sling Studio, and it takes the image that we use from our cameras, and it imports them directly into our laptop, and we do live edits as we go, right? So we do these live edits. If you guys ever watch any episode of the show that we have, James is, he's behind the scenes. You don't see him on camera very much because he's running all the production stuff in the background. So when I'm talking, maybe there's a camera on me. When the guest is talking, there's a camera on them. Sometimes we have a split screen. Sometimes we have multiple guests. We have 4 screens on there. James is the one doing that behind the scenes, and we're doing that live while we're running the program. And we do it live so that, everybody else doesn't have to worry about waiting for the show to be edited. They won't have to worry about any of that stuff. We're doing it directly on the show so that you guys can see it. All right. Let's see. I think my Facebook Live kind of died here a second. Maybe it didn't. All right. So next, let's go on to the equipment itself. Okay. So let's see. Sling Studio, what does it actually look like? It looks like a modem, right? And so it's just this hub. This thing's going to set you back about $1,000. But what it does is it takes our cell phone cameras and it turns them into the cameras that we use. So the cameras that we're using here today, right? The cameras that you see on the show, they're literally just cell phone cameras. My cell phone is a Droid. I know, it's a Droid. James has been trying to get me to get an iPhone. I get it. I know. He has an iPhone 8, right? It's not even the newest kind. So his camera, my camera, and then when the guest shows up, we use their phone as camera number 3. So what we have them do is download the app called Sling Studio Capture. Once they have the app, we turn their camera on, and boom, their camera is feeding that same videos into the laptop via Sling Studio. Right? And now we have 3 cameras that we can play with, we can add, we can cut, we can, do whatever we need to, but we're using that Sling Studio. So it was originally designed for churches. We use it now for the podcast. That's how we rock and roll. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the mics, okay? So the mics themselves are hooked up to this little red piece of equipment down here. You see that, guys? That is called the Focusrite, and I think it's like Focusrite i818 or something like that. I think that's the model number. But the important thing about this, and I should have noticed the last time, right? The important thing about this is it's got 4 XLR connections right here up front. So these are the 4 different microphone inputs that are going into this Focusrite, right? And then you see those audio wires, the green ones on this side? That is where the headphones hook up to so that we can hear the audio. And then the little green wire with the white, that one hooks up to the Sling Studio. Now, what we're doing there is we're taking the audio from the Focusrite, we're putting it into the Sling Studio, and then that red USB cable, it goes all the way over here into the laptop. Right? So the equipment that we're using is for 2 purposes, right? One is the video, right? Sling Studio captures video. It also captures the audio for us, and we can edit and use that information right there directly. The other thing, the Focusrite, that is strictly just audio, and it's taking the audio and it's recording it through Audacity. And Audacity is our secondary audio, because we've had times where Audacity clunks out and that's our main audio. It's gone, but the audio is also being recorded on Sling Studio. And we've had times where the Sling Studio cuts out, but the audio on the mics continues to go forward, and we have the audio there. So there's redundancies that we put in place just to make sure that the content that we create is there, right? So that the audio is there. And so, you know, that's basically the equipment that we use for the show, and we put it on every single day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, right? Hopefully you guys learned a little something. Again, if you're interested in starting your podcast, don't go through all the hiccups that we did at the beginning. Just let me know. I'd love to share some more information with you. I will be putting on a webinar very soon to share a little bit more in depth about the equipment, have you guys do Q&A, ask questions, that sort of stuff. So if you guys have any questions, my contact info, hernan@csfirst.com or 619-884-4915. I'd love to help you get your stuff started. We'll handle all your branding just like we do on our Instagram page, right? We'll handle all your production of your podcast. We'll do all the editing. We'll do all the transcribing, so we can have, you know, your blog information, all that sort of stuff. I want to help you create your brand, because my goal, right, is to help you create wealth today and generational wealth tomorrow. Right? And we're also going to be able to help you increase your income by adding an income stream using pipeline insurance. All right, guys, that's all we got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed round 2 of this one. That's all we got. Peace. And I'm out.